the US military's approach to artificial intelligence is more ethical than that of US adversaries because America is a Judeo-Christian society. So said the top US military leader a few days ago. What? Here's what he actually said. Regardless of what your beliefs are, our society is a Judeo-Christian society and we have a moral compass. Not everybody does. That's what Lieutenant General Richard G. Moore Jr. said at a Hudson Institute event discussing international attitudes to AI recently. Okay. Now let's just leave aside the fact that, people who can watch a man say that the US military operates on a moral compass without losing their minds, they've probably never read a history book in their lives. But let's ask the obvious question. Who was he referring to? Which community was he saying lacks a moral compass? The Washington Post reported Moore didn't say whom he was referring to when speaking about US adversaries, but much of the US defense industry has focused on China's burgeoning AI sector. In other words, it was obvious at the meeting that the people described as having no moral compass were the Chinese. It's interesting, just a few years ago it would have been unthinkable for a powerful person in society to make such a statement about a whole ethnic group in this way without a backlash. But these days that sort of statement is allowable if Chinese people are the victims, the target. I think that's a bit sad, really, especially if we consider the actual facts about this topic, which simply do not get reported. In 2019, the countries of the world met at the UN to discuss a motion about autonomous killer robots. Pretty much every country in the world, including China, agreed that AI robot assassins were an obviously horrible idea and should be banned immediately. Humanity does have a moral compass. Guess who disagreed with the motion? Yeah, correct. The US and their allies. They refused to support such a ban. And yet today we're being told that they have a moral compass, but Chinese people don't. I did a separate report on who supports killer robots, highlighting a misleading New York Times report which gave the opposite of the truth, implying that the Chinese approved and the Americans opposed it. I'll provide a link if you want that full story. Friends, sisters and brothers, I don't care what passport you carry or what your politics are or what your ethnic or cultural background or nationality is. We all need to recognize that the demonization of Chinese people by outlets like the Washington Post and the New York Times, the Financial Times, this is not a good thing for anyone. Now, I know full well that if we complain about this, our critics will just put up a sign saying freedom of speech. So I'm going to just use my own freedom of speech to make a simple statement in response. And this is it. Chinese people are very much like non-Chinese people. They love their children too. That's it. That's all. Now, if your news source is reporting that Chinese people have no moral compass regarding AI and hiding the fact that it's not the Chinese who voted in favor of AI-powered killer robots, get a better news source. The Washington Post, the New York Times, the Financial Times, they can print whatever deceptive content they like. But we, the people of planet Earth, we don't have to read it, right? What if the warmongers munged a war and the mass of humanity just said, no thank you? That's what needs to happen. Peace.